Hi. Today I'm going to cover what a year of game dev on our first full production looks like and what we're up to next. What have I been up to these last few months besides celebrating the holidays and getting 3 different sicknesses? Well, I got so stressed working on our main game, Job App Sux, that I took a week to draw, art, and program a smaller game for myself from scratch. Yeah, I know I have a problem. But at least it's playable and on itch. Link down below if anyone's actually curious, but that's not what this video is about, so let's get into this video's update. Alrighty, super fast quick history time. For the uninitiated, Starry and I started this visual novel project back in February of 2025. It was a simple outlet for our frustrations about finding a job in these current times, and we made it for an art and prototype expo, where we showed a janky, barely put together trailer with a mix of placeholder and proper visual assets. I wrote out a first chapter, and then we had an editor fix my shitty writing and help us out with our itch updates, and any piece of text that needed to grace the internet. We tried a Kickstarter, and it failed, which was a great learning experience and a bit unfortunate since we wanted to use the money to speed up production of the game and fun stuff like our Steam page, but it's okay. Throughout this entire time, I was making YouTube shorts trying to push the damn thing, but I think there's a lot more finesse to a Kickstarter, and I definitely will be a bit more strategic about that for my next game. We wrapped up Chapter 1 and got pretty far into Chapter 2. We got help from some friends for more music, programming, UI design, and playtesting, and now we're all caught up. I'm currently writing the story for Chapter 3, while our other writer fixes the burning chaos and despair I've left behind me in Chapter 2. We've got some concept art for Chapter 3, and story beats for it have already been plotted out. Now I just gotta drop some fire prose. So what slowed us down a bunch? We made a minigame for Chapter 1, and it took a little bit, but we were super proud of it. Our UI designer helped out with programming, I handled game design and small edits here and there, and Starry did most of the heavy lifting with art and programming. If it sounds like Starry did most of the work here, it's just because she did. Riding off that high, our team was like, hell yeah, we should also have a unique minigame for Chapter 2. We were hyped, building out references on Figma, designing the game, but we all forgot one small, tiny thing. RenPy is not exactly made to go super crazy with game development. What makes it easy to start and get into is also what makes it really difficult to customize to a deeper level. The art, the music, the UI, and everything was set up for the minigame, but Starry stepped up to the plate to code and...
No contest!
So RenPy is really just Python, except it's set up in a way that makes it really easy to start your own visual novel making. It's not easy if you want to do anything out of the norm. So this game was a nightmare for Starry to code. However, as of this year, after tons of hours fixing the issues, we've finally got a Chapter 2 minigame. Here's the breakdown of that process. We initially had a Papa's Freezeria inspiration for the game. The theme of our game was a slog of going through multiple recruiters at a job fair and trying to talk to each and every one of them and leave as good of an impression as possible. So the vibe was, instead of taking orders, recruiters are asking questions and you, the miserable job applicant, have to answer all of them to the best of your ability. Here's the concept art I made as we were doing some game design. I designed the narrative vibe, just being in a dystopian factory line setting where you are trying to sell yourself as a product on a shelf on a massive conveyor belt for people. I wanted to simplify the conversational process because at the end of the day, it's still just a game and you're in a wild, wacky world. So our UI designer, Relic, decided we should do something like a pattern-shaped game where there's some sort of pattern and you just got to fill in the blank. So here's some mockups on how I imagined the gameplay would be like, which she took and made a more polished look on Figma. I made some placeholder assets to make the mockup look a bit cooler for Starry, and then we hit our big apocalyptic moment of annoying code, and me having to move out of my apartment to another city. After all that craziness, I decided that one of the ways to jumpstart development again was to revamp the look of the minigame a bit. Of course, I still had to do my actual job of writing the story, but Starry was losing her mind, so I did the best thing I thought a game director, game designer could do, and that was to switch gears and do some more design work to make the feel of the game a bit more immersive and a bit more fun to code. Instead of just picking answers off of a board or a speech bubble for Rose, we decided to switch to a business card holding the answers, giving it a more thematic feel. The game design stays the same and the placement of the UI elements also stays the same. To spice up the score, I made it so that you get a letter grade based on your points, which relates to how you're leaving academia into the industry so you still feel like every conversation is a test that gets graded. I gave the business card a more artsy design to reflect a bit of Rose's personality and whimsy, and I even threw in a silly Thorn giving a goofy face on the other side of the conveyor belt, because he's also here. This was exactly what we needed to get back into development, and my goodness do I have to say, I am blown away by what we were able to make out of this. This minigame was just an idea a few months ago, and now I'm playtesting it. Crazy. Anywho, now that we're headed into development of Chapter 3, I wanted to show off some of our new characters and talk more about their character designs. The first 3 characters were a set of pixel art that I made to quickly push the concept of this game out when we first pitched it to our friends and community. Don Fragio, just a humble indie studio founder, or a mafia boss using his game studio as a front. He'll be following up his appearance at the end of Chapter 2 as the main reason why Rose gets into the shenanigans that occur in the Chapter 3 heist in the first place. Then we have Mr. Cheodor Ched Cheese, aka Mr. Cheese. I just thought we had to have a cheese thief rat that was just extremely competent, quiet, and cool. He's a big fan of squeakeasies, and he's here for the big cheese. Big Bear is the final of the trio, being the muscle of the indie game studio. Why a game dev studio needs muscle remains to be seen, but he's here to crush it, maybe literally. Finally, we have the Knave of all trades. This is a character I designed a while ago. He's like a patchwork quilt of a design, just like how he knows a bit of everything, he's made of a bit of everything. Now I know there's a lot of capable jack of all trades types out there. Hell, I'm technically one of them. But Knave of all trades is a very specific subcategory of this character trope that is the embodiment of the Dunning-Kruger effect. He acts like a know-it-all, and that's why his name is Nathan Know-It-All. Nathan with a KN, by the way. Alrighty, that's all for...
Back into the writer's room now. That's all for this time. Stay tuned for our next updates, where we hopefully can really get going and give you completed Chapter 2 and a Chapter 3 in the works. See ya!